And on the pulse this afternoon, we bring you back an exclusive interview we had with CEO of the STC on some transformation he's brought to the state transport company. Take a look.
Come and look at the facilities and they know that their drivers will get good training. When you have a minute, I will urge you to go there and check it out.
These
and multimedia is a private partnership.
I mean, these are those who are requesting for training.
Oh, yeah.
These are private, commercial buses or bus drivers.
Yes, who are coming in for the training. And when people come and see, they want their drivers to come here for the training.
But we've not heard any, say, advertisement or anything. So how do people even know that there is this resource they can tap for?
Those in the industry, they look around. They look around. But we are going to do a lot of advertising.
But you wanted to give multimedia free services?
Well, at a discount. But if you have drivers that you want to be retrained or even trained, bring them here. So when you go and have a look, you will bring your drivers here.
I hear you. We'll see how it goes. We're having a chat with Akomea. Akomea is Managing Director of STC. So we're looking at the STC from 4 basic perspectives. We're looking at STC's contribution to transportation, STC's contribution to safety on our roads, STC as a business that the Ghanaian must necessarily make profit from, and STC under the leadership of a former communication director for the governing NPP. We're just finished talking about the relevance. We've also spoken a bit about the safety on our roads. Recently, we've had some very disturbing statistics. We saw one day, we saw a number of people killed in one day. Over 60 people killed in one day. When the STC, you as head of the STC, head of it, I'm wondering what went through your mind at the time?
Well, like every Ghanaian, I was extremely shocked for people to die under those circumstances. I mean, dying from natural causes is bad enough, but dying from in that violent manner, accident and bent alive, I mean, you can't even begin to think about the suffering and the pain that the people went through. So we're all distressed. One, it made us also review our processes to reinforce them. You know, when we have night services, there are always 2 drivers in the bus. So whilst one is driving, one will be resting. And after every 4 or 5 hours, they change. And that is one thing that we do. We always have 2 drivers for any journey that goes beyond 5 hours. Now also, the night services, there are devices now. We have shown an interest and we've gotten somebody to come and do a demonstration for us. There are devices now that the night driver can wear, and when it monitors their brain waves, and when their brain waves show that they are feeling sleepy, it wakes them up. So we have invited a vendor who's coming to do a demonstration for us. But as a standard, all of our night trips, we have 2 drivers. And so we just went back to make sure that that provision is working. And also the provision about the speed limiters is also working. Once in a while, some drivers, out of a certain desire, try to disable the speed limiter.
Oh, really? So they can actually disable it?
Well, these are gadgets. So,
and what's the punishment for such an?
Oh, of course, that will be dismissal if you are found out. But so we had the inspectors check all the 90 buses that we have to make sure that the speed governors are in place. And we also have passenger feedback. So the telephone numbers of my deputy MDs, not some help desk. My deputies are on the buses, and so people can call. Passengers can call in when there's any complaint, and they can speak directly to the deputy MD, Kwabena Sintima Boachi. And
How is that
also
so far?
Oh, he's standing there. He will tell you sometimes it's terrible. He gets 40, 30 calls a day from passengers complaining about
I'm sure the time, because I remember one time I was traveling on STC and it took forever and there was no communication as to what is happening. At a point they changed the bus.
What I believe, the other thing too that the government should do is to create corridors for mass transport.
Mass transport?
Transport, yeah, the high capacity. Okay. So, look, when we go into Kumasi, no, not trains, I'm talking of buses. When we are going to Kumasi and we set off at 4 p.m. from Circle, it takes us 1.5 hours to get out of the traffic. So passengers, we have to still stick to 100. Now when passengers have sat through 1.5 hours, 2 hours to get from Circle to Sawam, then they complain that they spend too much time on the bus. So now we don't have trains. What we have are the large buses. If government can create block of lanes during peak hours, so OA, VIP, STC, once it's a high capacity bus, you use those lanes. It will help a lot.
Do you see that it is a realistic, feasible?
What is difficult about it?
You tell me.
There's nothing to, it's just government determining to do it. It's not difficult. We are not asking government to build.
What we try to do with Intercity.
No, you mean the
mass.
The Ayalolo thing.
Yeah, isn't that what we try to do?
Yeah, that's what we try to do. That it's another story. But
and this is a short.
Yes, but that concept. No, the Ayalolo has not failed because of the lanes. No. It didn't fail because of the lanes. And if you go into it, the difficulties they are having is not because of the bus lanes. The bus lanes are still there.
No, the point I'm actually trying to make is that the bus lane system, you know, that the whole idea we've tried it and it has not worked.
Well, the bus lanes were not completed. I mean, you have 100 meters and then you join the main traffic. I'm saying that rush hours between, say, 4 and 6, block lanes for buses. And you see,
buses.
Because you see, like I'm saying, if the passenger sits in the bus, he sits in for 30, 40 minutes, the bus gets full. The bus then takes another 2 hours to get to Sawam. The passenger is tired.
And they begin to give the driver pressure.
And they begin to give the driver because they've sat in the bus. But otherwise, if it shouldn't take 20, 25 minutes to get from Circle to Sawam, to the highway, where the highway begins. Once they hit the highway and they're doing 100, you should get to Kumasi in 3 hours. But the internal traffic, so if government, through the Ministry of Transport, when I say government, I'm talking of the states. Yes, if the state of Ghana could have a provision that will say that between 4 and 6 will block 1 lane for commercial traffic, it will help.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But let's talk about STC as a business. Is it thriving? What do the figures say?
Well, no, it's thriving. You know, the government of Ghana got us 50 new buses in October 2016. And that gave the platform for a new life for STC. So far, since the new administration came, we've added about 45 buses. So now our fleet is almost 100. But the new buses, when they came, the problem that I saw, we always saw about 20, 22 buses packed because we couldn't hit Kumasi, which was the largest commercial. But when we got to Circle, when we moved to the lorry parks, now we are doing about 17, 18 trips on the average. And as I speak, our monthly revenue used to be 2.3 million cedis. Now is averaging 5 million cedis a month. We are able now to pay SNIT. We couldn't pay SNIT contributions for 10 years. We are paying the arrears, and we are also current on the monthly. We are paying government money for the loan that government took for the bus. It's never happened.
How much?
And we are also actually now on our own balance sheet, buying 100 buses
okay, so wait,
on our own balance sheet.
With the government, what the deal that the government...
The government gave us 20 million. $20 million. And every 6 months we pay $1 million.
Okay. Are you done?
Sorry?
Are you done?
Oh no, it's been the buses came in October 2016. Okay. And there was a little moratorium. So we actually started paying in July 2017. And every 6 months we try and give the government some money.
Government must be impressed with your performance so far then.
They are they can't believe it. The first 2 occasions they couldn't believe it.
I see.
Yeah.
Now you say you're purchasing your own 100 buses.
Yeah. On our own balance sheet, which has never happened.
And check with
it's 17. Well, we did a tender. We went through the procurement law, and so we got the lowest tendered pay. And you know, it has to go through the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Transport, and eventually to even go through Parliament. Because when the buses come, we'll look for it. So it's very rigorous exercise for value for money. It's a total of $17 million for 100 buses, the spare parts. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is about the first time STC is going to commercial market to borrow on our own balance sheet for buses.
Okay, so you borrow this money at what rate?
Oh, the very good rates.
What does the figure say?
The term sheet, I have to look for it, but
okay.
it's very good.
We certainly can get it later on. But
it's with ADB, Agri Development Bank, so a state bank.
I see. So 17 million, what's the target? The target of time frame in which you want to pay?
Oh, 5 years.
5 years,
yeah.
Starting from 2017?
No, the buses have not been delivered.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are being done. Our people have gone there to nail down the standards. You know, so when they come, we have 5 years to pay, and we'll pay. With the new terminals that we are setting.
I've noticed how you say this with a lot of pride.
Yeah.
In terms of profits, how much have we made so far?
I don't know if profit is a good term, but our revenue over our expenditure has improved dramatically. Our wage bill, it's about 1.5 million cedis a month. Our fuel bill alone is about 1.3 million cedis a month. And then you look at other operational SNIT contributions and so on. We're still able to make something to pay our debts. So it's not, I wouldn't consider it profit because we owe. Yeah, because we owe the government. We owe SNIT for 10 years. We owe Ghana revenue authorities for like 8 years. We haven't paid. We are paying all of it now gradually, the payment plan. So the excess income is used to pay. So I wouldn't call it profit. I'll say that it's income over expenditure. It's quite good. So now we're able to pay. We used to owe Ghana Water for like 3 years. Ghana Water. Our monthly bill is 8,000. We used to owe plenty. We couldn't pay. Now we're paying, we're settling all of that. Every month we pay 75,000 Ghana cedis to SNIT, and then 70,000 cedis for the backlog that we hadn't paid for since 2010. We hadn't paid the Ghana Revenue Authority for like 8 years. We owe them. And so they've come here with, when we started paying the money to government, all our creditors came, including SNIT. So we are making arrangements. We're going to pay SNIT 4 million Ghana cedis, but the banking crisis, so it's been difficult to get the money out. But we're going to pay SNIT. We owe them for like 20 years.
Could SNIT have done better? Do you think that STC have done better? I mean, I've heard all that you're saying. You say it with pride because it's like best of the West situation. But could the company be doing much better?
I think, like I said, the main constraint, in my view, that beyond the usual petty difficulties that you have with efficiency and all of that, the major difficulty that the company had was that these terminals as it is were not viable, and they were relying on these terminals, and people were not coming. So there's the operational decision to move to the lorry parks is really what has changed the company.
Expanded your rights,
yes.
I guess. But
so instead of just operating from this terminal and expecting everybody to come, we are now at Circle.
And you're looking
and then we are going to Medina, and then we are going to Amasama, and then we are going to Kaswa. Now,
how did you solve the problem
of what?
About other private commercial businesses saying that the STC, because it has government on its side, is trying to bully them out of business? You had the same situation in Kumasi, you had some here in Accra, Circle.
But STC has been in existence before you were born, in the 1960s, before the private sector came. So why should they be complaining about STC?
The government owes the private sector an enabling environment to make it also blossom. State agencies should blossom for private entities, especially at NPP.
At the end of the day, whether you are a state enterprise or not, is the market that will decide. You have to give satisfaction to the customer. When myself and my new when we came, we introduced the on-board services. So people were given breakfast and people were given lunch on all our services, free of charge.
Local content?
Yeah, Hausa cocoa, sobolo, tea, coffee. As we speak, we have free Wi-Fi on many of our buses. The one that Multimedia traveled with on all your heritage month trips, you had free Wi-Fi. The private sector won't give you that. So now we are setting the pace for the private sector. At the end of the day, it's competition and the satisfaction to the customer. Whether you are a state enterprise or a private enterprise, you must satisfy the customer. That's what we are trying to do. Okay. I mean, we've been here before the private sector came, and then they are complaining about us. If people are going to complain, we should complain about them.
Because they say you have government, you have muscle, so you're bullying them out of business.
But the company collapsed, and they were all laughing at us. You remember? Everybody was laughing at the STC. With government support, everybody was laughing. So if STC has revived, they should be
bullying people out of business.
How can we bully you? We're offering you competition.
I'm talking to Akomea, he's managing director of STC, and momentarily we'll be going into the bus to look at the features, which he speaks of quite proudly, and we'll have him take us through those features so we can have an idea of what it is that's going on here. But before we go there, my final theme for this conversation, Nana, is STC and former NPP's communication director, Nana Akomea. Did you have to lobby for this job?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
How bad? How rigorous?
Oh, the president thought I should do something else, but I wanted a certain kind of challenge. And so I wanted, this is a heritage enterprise, one of the legacy enterprises. This company started in 1909 as the government transport department, the colonial days. And then in Kwame Nkrumah's time, it became a government department called State Transport Corporation. So it's a legacy state enterprise. And I wanted a chance, which had fallen on very hard times and gone the way that many state enterprises have gone. I wanted a chance to see if we can use the private sector principles to revive it. I wanted a challenge because I had been in public service, done some ministerial thing, and so on. I wanted a challenge, a place where there was a real challenge. We pay our own salaries. The government doesn't give us a peso. We have 540 employees. We pay everybody their salary, including international employees. We have 40 people working for us in Abidjan, another 25 in Lomé, another 30 in Benin, and in Ouagadougou. We pay everybody. The government doesn't give us a dime. And we pay our social security, we pay in our water bill, we pay in everything.
Why did you choose STC?
Because of the challenge. And fortunately for me, there has been modest success. In another 1 year, you will see.
Who else wanted the position?
Oh, I don't know. When I asked the president for it, he wasn't keen. But I said, let me.
Because he thought you deserved.
He wanted me to do something. I said, no, let me go. I want a challenge. Let me go and see.
What did you want you to do?
Oh, you don't expect me to repeat my conversations with you.
Not necessarily. You're not repeating
I won't repeat your private conversations with me.
No,
so why should I
private
repeat?
Conversation.
No, but the ones you have with me, I won't repeat them.
No, this is not private conversation.
Huh?
I mean, this is more like,
the public conversations.
The people that we pay.
If there were public conversations,
if
there were public conversations, you would have heard and reported on them.
So you won't tell us.
No, I
won't
tell you. No. All I can tell you is that the president initially wasn't keen. I said, I want to do something that I find a challenge.
Did you have a hard time convincing him? I heard the president is a very tough person to deal with.
Yes. But at the end of the day, he realized that I really wanted to do it. So
how did you convince him that you have the requisite skills? I mean, you are communication.
I didn't convince him. He said, okay, if that's what you want to do. In fact, he used to tease me. He said, hey, Akomea has all important job. But now he's quite happy about what's happening.
He's quite happy about
because he gets the reports.
I'm still very curious about STC. Just wanting a new challenge doesn't quite cut it for me.
Why?
Because it doesn't.
You don't want a challenge?
I do want it, but I'm just wondering why there are so many other areas that could give you that challenge. Why STC?
Oh, maybe from here I'll go to another area of a challenge.
Did you have any skills that you wanted to try?
It's just the private sector principles. Like I said, the problem here was that there was a failure to diagnose the problem. You see, like I said, we had new buses, but half of them were parked at the back. So there was a problem. When I came here, the stories I used to hear, they said there's juju. There are people here in the pay of our competitors who were always sabotaging us. I was giving names. These are the people you must sack. And that there was some juju here, there's some curse. In fact, one person who's a former minister said, as for STC is cursed. What are you going to do there? Nothing they do works. But the problem was that the position of the terminals had become redundant.
So for you, that was the problem.
And the evidence is very clear. Like I said, this beautiful terminal, if you couldn't do 4 trips to Kumasi, which is the biggest route, the most profitable route, and when we moved to Circle, we are doing 18, 19 trips. So and then we couldn't do 4 trips from Edum to Accra. When we moved to Asafo, we are doing 16, 17 trips. So it's clear an operational difficulty. And once that was so, and when we go to Medina, and we go to Kaswa, and we go to Amasama, you see the number of trips we'll be doing to Kuma, and the revenue level. Sorry?
Did you sack anybody?
No, we've actually increased the employment.
You said you had a list of people that wanted to...
No, I didn't sack anybody.
You didn't sack anybody?
No, I didn't sack anybody. I thought if anybody would sabotage us, it's because there's internal weakness. Otherwise, nobody can be in the employment of our competitors and sabotage, unless we assess we are internally weak.
And this is my very final question. Tell us about some of the challenges you had trying to deal with this state problem.
The biggest challenge is the attitude, because people have been used to working in the States. So they were not used to working along private sector mindset. Mm-hmm. So people still have that mindset. Oh, we must close at 5. Oh, we hear weekend we close at this time, and all of that. You have to change that. Either you remove everybody or you do a lot of orientation, and that's what we are doing. We're also employing a lot of technology these days, and it's working. Our ticketing process is becoming easier. Very soon we will launch our online platform where you can buy the ticket and choose your seats and the time of travel anywhere on the scheduled services. So we're going to launch it very soon, sometime next month. So we also employ a lot of technology, and also to overcome some of the difficulties with the manual processes. Little pilfering here and there are all being checked with the new software that are coming. So in another 6 months, when we have this conversation, you will see that a lot of progress has been made.
I'm looking forward to that conversation. Is there anything else?
Have you traveled on the buses at all?
I have traveled on STC once.
We gave, when you had your heritage month, you use only our buses.
I was
and I understand.
I was on that trip, but
speak to your colleagues who were on them. They were full of praises for the new buses.
You do feel very proud about your achievement here.
No, I'm just reporting to you.
I'm just what you believe you have done.
I am just reporting to you what your own people reported.
When you have left this place, what do you want people to point to? What do you want?
Oh, I think the biggest legacy will be the operational shift to the new terminals. Okay. And anybody, I mean, if we were able to, now we have Circle, we have Asafo. If myself and my new team were able to add Amasaman and Medina and Kaswa and also Kejetia, and we're going to do 3-4 more stations in Kumasi. If we're able to do those things, it will be a very good legacy, because that really is what's saving the company.
And I can't wait, as a Ghanaian, I can't wait to see how STC grows out of its debt and how STC grows to actually become a profit-making venture for the state. Akomea has been my guest. We'll be talking STC, problems and the successes so far. Is there anything else I haven't asked that you want us to know about what's going on?
Well, like I said, I would like government to take seriously the creation of the corridors, especially at peak hours between 4 o'clock and 6 p.m. for intercity buses, all of us, not just STC.
Friday buses as well.
Yeah. Just for 2 hours every day, so that we don't spend 1.5 hours getting out of Accra or Kumasi. And also, government should, or the state should enforce the speed limits by having every commercial transport install the speed governance. They make a loud alarm when you go beyond 120 or 100, and that would, because the nature of our highways, they are not dual carriage, they are single lane. So anything that happens results in that. If the tire bursts or there's a little careless driving, it results in an accident. A goat crosses the road, the driver tries to swerve, it goes to the other lane. Until we can have dual, like 4, 5 lanes, 6 lanes to Kumasi and Takrady and Tamale and so on, we have to limit the speed. And you can do that by requiring commercial transport to have the speed governors. Okay. You see the traffic, the accident and death rate will drop.
In terms of competition, you said that you were giving, the private business competition. Yeah. When it comes to pricing, do we feel that element of competition there as well?
Especially one of our major competitors, they have over 500 buses. So they are able to vary the fares at short notice. And they also don't have our overheads. We have about 540 people to pay every month and pay their social security.
You think they don't pay social security?
No, they don't have. They don't have that huge overhead on our head. I mean, if you went to VIP, their model is different. Individuals bring their buses, so you may have 10 buses. How many people are you employed with 10 buses? The drivers. That's all. Another person has 5 buses. But we are an entity. We have 540 staff. Okay. So our overheads are bigger, and you don't want to lay anybody off. So we suffer a little bit with the pricing, but we are making it up by the level of service. Okay. We have free Wi-Fi. We are bringing back the cabin service, where you can get some nice house cocoa and nice bread and mushroom. We are bringing it back, and so we are making up for those things. And our safety record. So all of these are things that people quantify in terms of money, and they come.
And it will be really instructive that everybody else could learn from the safety protocols, because that's the key, that's the big deal when it comes to transportation here. As I said, we're going to have a look at the process, and then we'll wrap it all up from there.